Can you hear me in the back row? Welcome to what we think is this very brief session of the Bennington Select Board. This is an early meeting because of the holiday. Next week would have been our regular week to meet, but because we are anticipating absences next week more than this, we voted to hold this meeting this week in order to be compliant with state law that requires that we meet twice a month. So we have a very brief agenda that we will get to in just a minute. I'm Ed Woods, I'm the vice chair. Jeannie Jenkins is out of town, and I'm going to introduce our select board members.
Hi, I'm Nancy White.
Tom Haley.
Clark Adams.
Jean Connor.
Thank you. And with us, we also have Stu Hurd, town manager.
Thank you.
Nancy Lively, who takes excellent minutes at every meeting. Did I get that right? We also have Mike Cutler on camera at Cat TV. We are told that we don't have mics tonight that are working, so we're all going to speak up. Am I right? Room speakers, okay, so we're all asked to speak up. That includes folks in the public who are going to be speaking during public comment. So let's start with the pledge, and I'm not going to lead it because, I got to delegate it. So how about Clark, if you would lead us in the pledge? Would you mind? Oh, the flag. Where's the flag? Oh, down there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Tom, if you would read the vision statement that guides our work.
I will. Bennington is a welcoming, engaged, inclusive, resilient community where everyone, regardless of identity, shares in our vitality and benefits from an outstanding quality of life.
Thank you, sir. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda, and we were, it was brought to our attention, some of us have not read it yet because it wasn't available until today. Some did not receive it on the board until tonight. So I think that the ask is that we table the approval of the September 9th minutes. And so I'd like a motion to do that, please.
I move that we table the December 9th minutes until our next meeting to vote on them.
And do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Nancy, thank you. Any discussion?
Yes. I just want to say thank you, Nancy, for doing the minutes so quickly. Don't interpret our lack of approving them on the quality of them at all.
My part's done.
Right.
Jean made the comment earlier that 13 pages, we do need a minute to read them, so makes good sense. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. We will move the approval of the December 9th minutes to the next regular meeting. So let's take the B and C together, warrants and licenses if there are any. For purposes of discussion, let's group them together, and may I have a motion to approve licenses and warrants, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion? Put your hand up and I'm not looking at you. Feel free to say, hey. Actually, to be thorough, how about if everybody just give me a nod that they're all set? If they are, I see a nod. Are we all set? Great. So all those in favor of approving the warrants? Oh, that's all we have tonight, warrants. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. This is so easy. The next and most important item on tonight's agenda is public comment. And there's a couple of people that would like to speak. Let's just go in order that people signed up. Jason Frederickson, and in quotes, the topic is be a helper. I love that. Actually, it doesn't matter. You're going to speak into the room.
No, Mike needs that for Kat.
You have 3 minutes, and you'll get the warning if you
All
go.
right.
Jason Frederickson, Bennington, Vermont. Good evening, Select Board leaders, town employees, and our amazing community. Thank you for the privilege to speak. I'm going to start with reading a Facebook post from my great cousin. A friend of mine made me think today, we all need a little acceptance, a little kindness, and maybe a little more laughter. We can't know someone else's life, but we can take a minute and know their heart. I'm not sure why this is so hard for people. And here's a little tip. Kindness isn't reserved for those who look like us, who have the same lives as us, or who have the same economic status as us. Kindness is free to everyone. And coffee. You can come to me, cousin, for both, and me too. My mom told me many times that there are things in life that happen, chores, waiting in lines, sickness. No choice. But you can choose to do them laughing or crying, making people around you feel better or worse, and that is the choice. Making other people feel worse will not make you feel better, but a genuine smile or smidge of compassion might. End quote. Sorry. Tonight is apparently all about quoting, as I've got another one from a local teacher that reposted and feel that that message is on point too. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I'm always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in the world. Mr. Rogers. End quote. Tonight's a short meeting, so I will keep this short too. No explaining why I chose to speak through these quotes. I trust you all get the message. For the past year, I have shared a home with family for the first time in my adult life. Perhaps it's that I've been living in a home with children that has my awareness of words on high alert. I mean, if I even say what the heck, I get corrected to say what the what. As they know, I'm really saying H-E-L-L, and trust me, I can't even say that either, as they both can spell. So as I close this message, I ask that we all please choose kindness with every interaction you have. Be conscious that no one is all the same. We each struggle in our own ways. Many just hide it well. Please take extra care to just be nice to all. Choose your words. Be a helper. Happy holidays, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Jason. Next up is Nancy Sanford with the topic of emergency housing plan.
Yeah.
Hi, Nancy.
I can stay here if you can all hear me. No.
You need to be in the camera, and does that mic work? That mic works.
Hi, good evening. My name's Nancy Sanford, and it's been brought to my attention. I live in Bennington for 17 years, come January. Been involved actively with the unhoused. So I heard about your summer plan for extreme weather. I'd like to know a little bit about that, and I'd like to know what steps are in place already for emergency housing in extreme weather this winter. We know that unhoused people can cause public health hazards. Please, please think very carefully and put a plan for the emergency cold weather in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And as you may know, our practice is to listen to all public comment and then respond at the end to those things that we can. We might be able to point you in a direction to get some information. So hold on.
That would be helpful.
We'll do what we can at the end of the public session portion. And the next person is Sarah Beth Ward, whose topic is Sea Park.
Hi.
Hi there.
Good evening. I wrote this letter, well, I'm going to read a letter, but after the meeting where the Charter Review Committee came in front of this committee and gave their report, I wrote a letter to the Bennington Banner, and as far as I know, it didn't get published. I looked for it, but it didn't get published, so I wanted to just read it tonight. At the Select Board meeting on 11/25/24, the Charter Review Committee gave their report on the items they have been working on for the past 4 months. I am concerned regarding the report regarding CPARB. Several comments include the board was a quagmire to investigate, had a lack of a clear mandate regarding the outcome of the board. The report also stated the board was disorganized and made little progress towards their goal, and there was a lack of motivation. They also felt there was a sense of hostility with the discussion regarding changes to the board. CPARB was accused of having a hostile relationship with the police department. The Charter Review also reported that the answers from the police and CPARB were in conflict. CPARB has done more community outreach than any other board in Bennington. All of the members of the board are extremely dedicated and deeply believe in their goals to make Bennington a safer and inclusive town. I do not agree with members of one board denigrating members of a separate board. We all need to work together to reach common goals. Kelly Carroll, who happens to be the chairperson of CPARB, is running for select board in March. She's involved in multiple organizations, including works with the Bennington Police Department. She just worked on October. She also does Wollumpsic Riverwalk, and I believe she would make a wonderful addition to the board, and that's why she has my vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, did anybody want to speak that did not get the opportunity to sign up at the start of the meeting? Hearing none, we'll move right along. The next and last item on the agenda is other business. And I'm going to go first with 2 things that Stuart, I need your help with. Upcoming meetings. I'm working on the town manager review packet that I will get out some notes on in the next 24 hours or so. There is an executive session being scheduled for 5:30 on January 2nd. That's a Thursday.
That's correct.
Thank you. And the topic for that is personnel. And then, Stu, we talked about a special meeting for Monday, January 6th. Am I on board with that?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. We have from the Bennington Police Department a vicious dog complaint. There is a dog that has, at this point, bitten 4 people that are actually have been visiting the household. And the police are very, very concerned about this dog and its inability to handle folks in the home. They've talked with the owner about giving up the dog and allowing it to be removed from the home. The owner has thus far refused. So the police department feels the only answer is to hold a vicious dog hearing, which is you folks as the select board are the hearing board. And because we don't have a formal meeting on the 6th, this would be a special meeting to hear this complaint by the police department and perhaps some of the people who have actually suffered some fairly serious injuries at the hands of this dog. So that is what is planned.
Thank you. So if I could just ask folks to watch their email and calendar for those 2 upcoming dates. And then, of course, in January, we'll be back to meeting the 2nd and 4th Monday. In addition, there are budget work sessions coming up in January. You can share those with us again,
Yes, those are technically, or at least tentatively scheduled for the 4th and the 11th of January, both Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. to generally no later than noon. We generally get out a little earlier than that, but that is generally the time frame. Those will be held here as regular board meetings are.
Thank you. So we'll be spending quite a bit of quality time together in January. That's all the other business that I have, so let's start on the far end and ask Jean if she has anything. Nothing.
I do not. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Clark, you're next.
I have nothing at this particular meeting.
Thank you. Tom?
Yeah, quick one. I had the honor of performing a wedding ceremony for a couple that drove up here from just outside New York City today, and they used our new trail system to walk from Main Street all the way where they met me. They wanted to be near water, so we did it over on the old Ninja Trail, over on the footbridge. And they were raving about the trail system, the quality of the trails, and how beautiful the walks were. And it was really nice to hear some feedback from somebody that was from away, acknowledging all the work that our town employees have done to make this rail system a reality. So, and happy holidays.
That's terrific. It's nice to hear that.
Yeah.
Nancy?
I'm concerned that we're going to have to wait until January 6th to have the hearing on the dog. I know it's the holidays, but I'd hate to hear that another person gets attacked, especially a child, because we're going to wait until January 6th. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I'd be happy to do the hearing much earlier. I can't urge Bennington residents enough. Please attend the budget meetings. If you have questions on spending, the cost of living in Bennington, this is where we have to hear from you. If you don't want to come to the firehouse, at least watch the meetings on CAT TV. And last, you made it clear at the last meeting that our town is now going to be covered under the umbrella program if the Ben High goes forward. But we didn't have any coverage in 2021 or 2022, did we?
No.
So we're now going to be open to lawsuits?
No. If in fact the project goes forward and the corrective action plan is followed, we will be protected forever from any pollution that may occur in the future on that site.
Well, I'm talking about in late 2020, the select board authorized town officials to help get the Berkshire Y into the Ben High. They were there from 2021 to 2022. I called into at least two meetings, and asked how officials knew it was safe. I said, how do you know there's no mold? How do you know there's no asbestos? Who did the inspections and signed off? Did the town of Bennington or did the state of Vermont? And I asked to see the inspections. And the only answer I got is, well, the town doesn't own the building. To me, the select board should have been more concerned that the building was safe before the Y employees were there, kids were there, seniors were being told to go take classes. So Stu, how were we going to be covered if we didn't have that coverage those 2 years?
I can only tell you that we will be covered should the action plan be completed.
Sir, I can respond to that. So
Thank you.
the concern about contamination isn't about current conditions, it's about when the walls are removed and the asbestos is exposed. We did air testing in that building. It came back zero detect for anything. This is all about once those walls are disturbed, et cetera. So there's really not any issue currently. And also we do not own the building, so we're not liable.
But that testing was done, Dan, after the select board approved the Ben High contract in 2022, and you said the test came back and the air quality was fine. That didn't answer the other questions I had. And we all know that Mr. Gilbert had been doing some renovations on the gym and the addition when the Y was in there. So again, what the town did was after the fact. I don't know how we're going to be covered because the board authorized town officials to put the Y up there.
We don't have liability because we weren't owners at the time.
We don't have liability?
We're not owners.
Anything else, Nancy?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Hearing nothing else.
Oh, Debbie's got a question.
Answer some of that lady's questions.
Stu, I was going to ask you what the best resource would be for Nancy Sanford to find out about emergency housing plan. Is it the LEMP effort?
Right now the local emergency management plan is being developed.
Yeah.
I think if you are looking for current information, you could reach out to the director of the Coalition for the Homeless. Okay? I know the chief of police is involved in the development of the local emergency management plan. We have a plan in place where, should things be necessary, we will house people. Most likely, as we did in the summer, we reached out to a number of organizations to open their doors when it was terribly hot. We opened a number of facilities. Fortunately for us, no one showed, so it wasn't as much a problem as we thought it might be, and we would take the same approach until such time as we have a formal plan in place.
Do you know that 3 people froze to death in Vermont?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And how does the word get out to people who are homeless and need a place to go?
At the present time, and this has been in place for a number of years, our police department will actually, where they know where people are staying, will actually go to them, suggest that they find shelter for the evening, and in some cases, we've had people stay at the police department in the lobby overnight in extreme cold where no other facility was available. So our police department will act when the time is appropriate. We simply don't have formal shelters set up for them, and we don't, and the issue is going to be ultimately, where are the shelters and who is going to staff them? And those are the questions that the local emergency management plan hopefully will begin to address.
Martha Mackey is involved with interfaith planning.
If you do need to be heard by the folks at home, so you really do need to use the microphone, I'm sorry. And I'm going to remind us that public comment was at the beginning of the meeting, so we don't typically do this back and forth. So be aware of that.
Thank you. I've gotten my information. I'm out there with the unhoused at 5 a.m. in the morning when they cry. They're hungover, and there is mental health issues. They cry because they're cold, and it's not even below 0 yet, really, just this week. So I really, please let the Spirit flow through you that you make an emergency plan immediately. Thank you.
Okay. With that, I think a motion to adjourn. With that, I think I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.